Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brooklyn Raga Massive's weekly, now online series. Brooklyn Raga Massive is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to raga and raga inspired music, and we've been holding weekly concerts for 9 years now, only interrupted by the pandemic. And of course, in the pandemic times, we've gone to this online series and look out for reinstallment of our live weekly concerts. But in the meantime, we've really been enjoying this online format. We get to zoom in, uh, literally zoom into everybody's living rooms and studios and basements and their homes, and we get to know musicians from our community and from around the world in a whole new way, so that we allow them to talk about their music and perform for us. And so we've been learning a lot from that. If you want to support us, of course, this workshop is free to attend if you want to support us. I'm going to be putting a link in the chat. If you have any questions, um, please feel free to type them in the chat if you have questions for Indro and Mir. And next week coming up, we'll have the conclusion of the first part of our social justice series, talking about bias and so that's going to be, we're going to have this panel discussion about that. It's going to be really interesting. Um, and, we're really happy to have Indro Roy-Chowdhury here for the first time in our online series. Of course, we featured him many times over the years in our weekly sessions and other concerts. Indro, welcome.
Great to be here. Thank you, Neil. Thanks to everyone over there.
And we're so happy that you asked Mir Naqibul Islam to join us. And Mir's been like the house tabla player for BRM for some time, so good to see you, Mir. And I'm also, my name is Neil Murgai. I am a sitarist as well as the artistic, co-artistic director for Brooklyn Raga Massive. So we're going to talk some sitar shop tonight and talk about sitar rhythms. And what do you got for us, Indra?
Yeah, so this is has been promoted as a workshop performance. So there'll be some talking, but I would like to get the mood going with some playing first. And I've chosen a rag that probably everyone that's a little bit familiar with Indian classical music is familiar with, the rag Behag. And I'll play a little bit of the rag Behag, and then we'll move on to some of the affiliate ragas that are kind of based on Behag or need to be made slightly different from Behag in order to bring the flavor out. So I'll begin with a little bit of alap and jor in Behag. We'll play some small compositions and take it from there. Thank you. Rag Behag, Alap Jor, and then Gat and Madilai. And I'd like to continue by talking a little bit about some less popular compositions, guts, some compositions, older compositions from the 1800s that come to us from the Lucknow Gharana. Tell you a little bit about this gut, and you can see that it has a real kick when there's a kick to it when there's a beat that's displaced from the sum. So din din na da din din na da 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 na din din na taka din na da 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 da. So where it goes to that sa, da 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 da. That sa is actually on the second beat of Tintal. So that gives it a really unique shape to the gut and really pulls against the rhythm. To have a sa that's so, yeah, Neil, go ahead.
I just wanted to, for our listeners and watchers who are maybe less familiar with Indian classical music, so we're playing Pintal, is 16 beats, and you're saying sum, that's the downbeats, the one beat. So in Indian classical music, we're always trying to get back to the one in some creative way, right? And then have this rhythmic play in different ways. So can you say what you were just saying, but
yeah, so let me rephrase it in less technical terms. So we have the sum, which is the downbeat, and of course all the melodies are going to really gravitate towards that beat. In this composition, it's been structured so that there's in the second half of it, there's a part where there's a very prominent sa. Sa, of course, is a very prominent note, especially in the tar saptak sa. And it's displaced from the psalm by a beat, and it really pulls against the rhythm, as you can see, even when I say it with the clap. So, din din na da din din da na din din na ta din din na. The counting is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 1. 5, 6, 7, 8. Din din na chaka din din na da din din na da din din na. Da 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 da. The composition itself starts offbeat also. It starts one beat after the Kali, which is halfway through the time cycle, Tinta. So, these are some of the really interesting older guts that really played with the rhythmic capacity of the various talas and the way the ragas kind of just melted into that. Like there's the inevitability of some of these compositions, even though they're so stark and pull against the rhythm. Other things to look.
You said this was from the 1800s. Is this Masjid Khani? Yeah.
No, this isn't Masjid Khani. This is from the Lucknow Gharana, though. And Masjid Khani, of course, would refer to the Vilambit, the slower tempo guts. This is
with the usual pickup of 5, like start from 12.
Right. So this is a Madhyalaya gut, and it's starting on the 10th beat. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Da 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 da. And we can also look at the notes of it. How it does kind of pull against the rag also. Pa ma pa pa ga ma ma pa pa da da ga ga re re sa. It's already there. Ga ma pa pa da da. In Behag, of course, we know that the dha has to be dealt with very carefully, right? Ga ma pa ni da pa. It's such a delicate thing there. Same with the re. Ga sa ni pa ni da pa ga re sa ni da pa. So, but we also know that ga ma pa da. This is also a very prominent phrase in Behag. So, and it's clear in this composition, ga ma ma pa pa da da ga ga re re sa, right? So we get some clues as to what Behag was at that time, how people saw it. In sa ma ma ga pa pa ma da da pa, this vakra chalan, sa ma ma ga pa pa ma da da pa sa. This we don't really hear much anymore, right? This might be left more to ragas like Gaur Sarang, ga re ma ga pa ma da pa, right? Sa ni re sa da pa ma ga re ma ga pa re sa Gaur Sarang. But in this composition, sa ma ma ga pa ma da da pa sa ga ma ga re sa sa re sa ni pa ma ga re sa. So this part gets into what we call ekhara pattern, which is when we cross over the strings. So it switches over from the baj tar, the melody tar string, to the jori string, the bronze string. So it's a very clearly an instrumental kind of movement. You wouldn't get that in vocal composition. So it's a clear example of the instrumental music of that time. Anything else to discuss about this, Neil?
No, really enjoying it. I find it interesting that I actually thought that they didn't use too much of Tivra Ma back in that time.
That's also correct. The Behag can exist without Tivra Ma altogether. But it appears in compositions like this, by that time it had become something, the phrase, pa ma ga, it's become the pakar of Behag, right?
The main phrase.
So it appears that
the main phrase used to be gama pani, right?
yeah. So Behag can exist without Tivrama altogether, and to find examples of it nowadays would be kind of difficult. I think the closest thing we see sometimes is maybe Hem Behag actually, right? That where there is no Tivrama at all, but of course that has a lot of additional Hemant phrases in there. But to get a glimpse of what Behag might have been without Tivrama, I think what would we call it, Shuddh Behag, but that would be something that we hear more in Hemant that doesn't use Tivrama at all. So this composition attributed to Ustad Basat Khan of the Lucknow Gharana. Some people know of Ilyas Khan, the sitar player who moved to, they all moved from Lucknow to Kolkata with Wajid Ali Khan during that time. And
the Tabla player, Khalifa Wajid Ali Khan?
No, the Nawab.
Nawab, oh, okay.
Yeah. So all the court musicians moved from Lucknow to Kolkata, and that was a real renaissance of music, of the music scene at that time. It's said that Kathak came to Kolkata at that time, Thumri, and of course these court musicians also in tow. So that was, I think that gives a great glimpse of into what Behag might have been at that time. Other compositions.
We have one question here from Vikram Mukherjee. Are there any specialties of Lucknow Gharana in Sitar?
Well, it appears what can be gleaned from this particular gut, because it has become, at least in Sitar, a very less represented gharana. But some of the Ekara movements, as seen in this composition, perhaps are very unique to this gharana. Some other compositions that I know, maybe I can just play.
What do you identify with?
I'm sorry?
What gharana do you identify?
Oh, right. So I identify myself as the Rampur Senia Gharana, which would be the gharana of, lastly represented by Wazir Khan, right? Wazir Khan was the Ustad of Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahib and Ustad Hafiz Ali Khan, who is Amjad Ali Khan Sahib's father, and also taught people like my grand guru, Pandit Birendra Kishore Roy-Chowdhury. So it's kind of a parent gharana, right, to some of the gharanas like the Maihar, and Amjad Ali Khan calls himself the Gwalior gharana, right? But they all...
Senia Bangash sometimes.
Right. Senia. So the Senia is referring to this Rampur Senia, where the Bir Khan Sahib and Wazir Khan Sahib, that lineage.
For listeners who are less familiar, gharana means kind of style or family of music, and usually the gharana name is from the location where this kind of style originated and flourished.
Har Gharana got in Behag, a composition of Ustad Alauddin Khan Sahib. So, is this one composition you're familiar with? Do you play this one?
I don't play that, but I definitely heard that around.
Yeah, yeah. So also a lot of rhythmic krintan involved in there. Also, plays with the tala in very unique ways. It starts on the 14th beat. So that's, as a pickup, that's a really kind of challenging place to start from, right?
Yeah. Can you demonstrate that?
Yeah. Din din na da din din na din din na dra da da dra da da dra da da chi dra da da chi dra da 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 da. Yeah. So it's picking it up is also kind of a challenge.
That pickup that we call the mukra, or the face of the raga, right? That's the pickup note that leads back to the sum and can be in different places here in 14. And it's really exciting to move it in different places. A lot of the times in 16-beat rhythms, it's on the beat 12, right? But to put it on 14 is exciting. We can move it around a lot.
Yeah. So it gives another kind of angle, because that would be music from the 1900s, right? So you can see maybe slight change in the thought process of how people think about behag or the tal in general. So
I think it's very interesting that how the music has changed even in the last 100 years. The way that we play it has really changed and evolved so much in terms of the
and now there's sorry, go ahead.
And yeah, in terms of how the tabla accompanies and the interaction between the melody and the rhythm.
Yeah, and I feel that still in these compositions the instrumental character is really the main force, and then nowadays the gayaki style has become such a prevalent influence that I think every gharana now incorporates a lot of the gayaki style into the playing. But in these older styles, we kind of see that focus on the rhythmic capacity of the instrument, the krintan really highlighting the techniques, the alankars.
Being the hammer-on and pull-off kind of technique.
Right. So that's something you can't get in vocal, obviously. And these compositions are making sure to include these various alankars, instrumental alankars. There's a rag called Bihagra, which is, the way I've learned it, medium ground between Behag and Khamaj. So Khamaj, you might all be, many of you might be familiar with. combination of this. Here, obviously, the dhaivat, the dha, the sixth, is much more prominent than it's supposed to be in bihag. Bihag would be. So, if you had a rag that were to combine these two, it might sound something like this.
Wow, wow, kya baat hai.
Thank
So
you.
good. I feel like
Namaskar.
I'm in my own little darbar here, my own king. Just you're playing for me privately, even though you're playing for millions of other listeners right now.
Millions, that's right.
Millions, millions, millions and millions. Thank you, Craig. Yeah. But that's really good. If I just wanted to talk a little bit more about the interaction between sitar and tabla and the rhythmic interaction. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about that more too. Maybe there's some ideas you wanted to talk about, or there was a passage in the middle where you started playing triplet feel, and then Mir would respond with triplet feel kind of phrases too.
Right. So, there's a lot of interesting things that happen when the melodic instrument starts playing percussively. And, like they say in the West, the piano is a melody instrument and also comes under percussion. And I would say something similar for the sitar, because the chikari strings are definitely percussion. And then there's a lot of classical ways of playing the sitar that are very percussive. So when the melody instrument starts to show some of the laikari is lay is the tempo, and laikari would be dividing the beat, dividing the matras in threes, fours, fives, and that's called jati, of course, right? So tisra jati, khanda jati would be fives, misra jati, sankirna jati. So these are dividing the basic rhythm into these divisions. And when the melody starts to do that, it really opens up a whole new pathway for the percussion to follow suit, because obviously that's something that is much more developed in the percussion world, as it should be. But when it opens up in that way, there's so many paths and avenues that can be explored just based on laikari, right? What do you think about that, Neil? Do you use a lot of laikari in your playing?
Yeah, Layakari often, sometimes, just from doing Layakari alone, sometimes I get this kind of goosebump feeling. Just when I'm really sitting in that rhythmic feeling, it kind of just, yeah, like that goosebump feeling, that kind of ecstatic feeling sometimes, just from that rhythmic play. Layakari can also mean just rhythmic play, right? But it more specifically subdividing the beat. So if people didn't follow, we have a beat that's going on, and we can subdivide that beat, 1 2 1 2, or 1 2 3 1 2 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 so we can have these different subdivisions, and then we're speaking, like Mir said, Indro said, we're speaking the language of the tabla, the rhythmic language, and they can respond accordingly.
Right.
Just adds to the excitement.
So, for example, if you have a phrase like "dhatre ke dhetete kata gadigena dha," "dhatre ke dhetete kata gadigena dha," "dhatre ke dhetete kata gadigena dha," so that there's
Yeah.
it changes the feel of it completely. The emphasis
The
is coming
same
in.
phrase in different subdivisions.
Yeah. Dhatre
Yeah,
ke
so
dhetete kata gadigena dha, dhatre ke 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 dhetete kata gadigena dha.
So you were going from a slow triplet feel back into a kind of 4 feel, and then into a fast 6.
Exactly, right. So the bowl is the same, but when done, using laikari, you can get this really interesting subdivisions of that.
yeah, I think the same phrase, when you place it in groups of when in one beat you are thinking that okay, it's like 4 microbeats in one beat, and then you are thinking the same phrase in a different space where it's 6 microbeat per one beat, or 8 microbeat per one beat. So you are taking the same idea, but now it's like getting faster to feel out the space.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I think there's been lots of comments about people really enjoying and tuning in from around the country, and they've been really enjoying your performance.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'm not watching the feed, but hello to everyone, and if you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Maybe we could end with one last short piece.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Some request?
Please.
Maybe you want to incorporate some of these things we were just talking about.
We heard a gut from Ustad Basat Khan before. Here's another one attributed to him. Rag Khamaj, and you can see this is before Manj Khamaj was even in vogue. Again, music from the 1800s, but you can see the nyasa, the emphasis on madhyam. So already we have something like Manj Khamaj in the repertoire before it's actually called as such. Right? The sum is on the madhyam itself. Again, attributed to Ustad Basat Khan of the Lucknow Gharana. This is a composition from the collection of my grand Ustad, my grand guru, Pandit Birendra Kishore Roy-Chowdhury. So as I mentioned, he was a student of people like Ustad Alauddin Khan, Ustad Wazir Khan, and all of the great masters of that time. He was a zamindar, so he was not a musician by profession. Vilayat Khan Sahib was born in Gauripur, which is the Rajbari of Birendra Kishore Roy-Chowdhury, and after his father, his first teacher was Pandit Birendra Kishore Roy-Chowdhury. So Birendra Kishore Roy-Chowdhury learned from Ustad Inayat Khan, who is Vilayat Khan Sahib's father, and he became his first teacher after his father passed away. Of course, Vilayat Khan Sahib moved away from Gauripur at a very young age to become the maverick genius that we all know he later became. So that was from the collection of my grand guru.
Well, thank you so much for sharing this knowledge, and there's lots of genius at that level. There's plenty of genius right here, and thank you for sharing it with us, your artistry and your scholarship and knowledge, and bravo to you and to Mir for great accompaniment. And
I cannot hear.
we really appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you soon in a live concert. We'll get these weekly series going, and we'll see you soon at a jam session or feature you. Thanks to all the people out there for tuning in. Next week we'll be having a panel discussion around our social justice series, continuing discussion about Kawais and how this class of courtesans in India have preserved some lineage of music Really interesting discussions going to be happening there. And, we'll have many other workshops and concerts coming up online, including with workshops of Japanese music and of course the raga music. In these times where we can't get together less, of course now things are opening up, but we've been lucky to just go to everybody's living rooms and studios and hear their heartfelt music coming from the home. And so that's going to about wrap it up today. Thank you, Indro. Thank you, Mir.
Thank you so much, Neil. To everyone at Brooklyn Raga Massive, we really miss playing for live audiences, but things like this and technology makes it possible for us to keep in touch.
That's right. All right. Good night, everybody.